This week's GM is the PsiOps Moon Battlegrounds and is just the second time it has ever been in rotation. The game's changed a ton since this Nightfall was originally released, and seeing that it's one of the most difficult Grandmasters that we have in the game right now, I figured an updated guide could benefit you guys. The ad density can be pretty overwhelming at times, and the dual Savathun clones in the boss room can easily wipe your team if not handled properly, so today I'll be showcasing how to limit the chaos for you and your fire team. I'm Above, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now let's get into it. Starting with my recommended team comp, we went with one Invis Hunter rocking Orpheus rigs, one Chaos Reach Warlock rocking Geomags, and a Banner of War Titan with Worm Gods or Synthos for additional ad clear, healing, and team-based damage resist with Woven Mail. I'm sure you guys are getting sick of my Orpheus Hunter recommendations at this point, but it truly is game-changing for both orb gen and crowd control in these ad-dense battlegrounds. The Invis is also extremely valuable for gathering the offerings in the tribute encounter, which makes it a top tier pick on its own. Banner of War is honestly being slept on by a lot of people right now, as it was recently used to secure the world record speedrun of the Cosmodrome Battleground due to its effectiveness against the Savathun clones, which we'll be dealing with in this Grandmaster as well. The Woven Mail damage resistance and healing helps you tank some of the lightning attacks, which can definitely be a game changer. The final slot is totally personal preference, with Geomag Warlock and Bolt Charge Titans being my top two picks to round out your fire team. Your weapon loadouts are actually pretty flexible here, but we went with one Levy's Breath to consistently stun unstops and stagger the final boss, and two Queensbreakers for a ranged DPS option that can also take advantage of particle reconstruction. As always, rocket sidearms are great for dealing with barrier champions, while your ad clear primary selections are up to you. And if you are rocking a Bolt Charge Titan, Le Monarch and a legendary linear fusion are definitely the way to go. Diving into the Nightfall, we're going to push forward to the first bridge on your right hand side and begin clearing ads from this high ground. This spot has good sightlines on the first set of ad spawns and gives you enough distance to do this safely. The first wave includes both a barrier and unstoppable champion, with the barrier spawning just inside this room and the unstop spawning just on top of this platform. Once both champions are dead, you'll trigger the next set of ad spawns beyond the platform on the next section of the bridge, and it is at this point that a second unstop will spawn in, and conveniently enough, you can actually just stun and kill it from here. We can then push up and shift our focus to the Hive Tomb Ship, as its turrets are extremely lethal, and breaking them from a safe distance makes this section of the bridge so much easier. You can then use this platform for cover and begin chaining your first set of supers. This should help you take care of the Hive Guardians and Barrier Champion that have spawned in below you, while Tether crowd controls the dense ad spawns. Champions will continue to spawn as you progress through the remainder of the bridge, which is why I recommend staying behind this barricade as you chain supers to avoid getting caught out of position. The Hive Ritual Altars are easily one of the hardest parts of this Grandmaster, but with a bit of coordination you can actually make this pretty simple. As you enter the room, a tribute bearer will spawn directly in front of you, and when it dies, it'll drop a taken essence that you'll need to pick up and dunk into the 3 altars as tributes. You can hold up to 3 of these at any given time, indicated by the taken essence stacks at the top of your screen. We'll need to dunk 4 of these into a given altar to fully cleanse it, which means we'll need 12 tributes in total. Just keep in mind that if you die, you'll lose your current stacks. Tribute bearers will consistently spawn around the room, and your Invis Hunter is perfect for safely collecting them. When you dunk the first tribute into the center altar, the encounter will begin. This immediately triggers the first ad spawn that includes both a barrier and unstoppable champion. I like to group up at the back of these stairs and use a rally barricade for cover, as these champions will naturally make their way towards you. Take out the unstop first, followed by the surrounding ads and the barrier champion immediately after. Your team can then focus on killing tribute bearers and clearing the center of the arena, at which point your hunter can go invis and safely grab them. Once you've collected 3 stacks, instead of dunking them, you'll actually want to hold off on the deposit while your teammates make their way to the left altar to get into position to spawn trap the first Hive Guardian. Your hunter can then dunk the max tribute stacks to fully cleanse the center altar, at which point 2 Hive Guardians and a Shrieker will spawn in. And the nice thing is that you can actually suspend the Hive Guardians, which is another reason why Banner of War Titan is such a great pick here. While your teammates are spawn trapping the first Hive Guardian, the hunter will be responsible for killing the Shrieker that spawns in the center of the arena. And the nice thing is that Levy's Breath will always one-shot them. Once dead, your hunter can then use their invis to safely rotate back to your teammates, at which point the second Hive Guardian from the far altar will make its way towards you. I recommend either suppressing it with tether or suspending it once again, and once dead, the encounter becomes so much easier. Your goal is to collect 8 more tributes in total and dunk 4 of them into each altar to cleanse them. We tried to dunk the final tribute on both sides at the same time to avoid spawning champions, and though this works, the champions will actually spawn in and then despawn immediately after, which will ruin your platinum rewards. So instead, we'll be doing 1 altar at a time. The only real danger at this point are the Hive Knights that push towards you, but if you play at the back of the altars like you're seeing here, you should be able to manage these no problem. Take your time killing the wizards and have your hunter collect the tributes once again. Once you've dunked 4 tributes to complete the left altar, a barrier and unstoppable champion will spawn in once again, accompanied by a Shrieker in the center of the arena, just like we had with the last altar. Once you've taken care of those 3 priority targets, you have no reason to be at this altar anymore. Any fighting you're doing is just wasting time and ammo, which is why you'll actually want to use your hunter's invis to quickly rotate to the final altar. Clear from the back once again, have your hunter collect 4 more tributes, and dunk them to complete the encounter. And just like that, we're headed to the boss room. This bridge will be guarded by 2 unstoppable ogres, which should be relatively easy to deal with. Take them out from a distance, but don't linger behind too long, as a Shrieker will actually spawn in repeatedly behind you as sort of a hey, don't cheese this part sort of mechanic. This is why I recommend pushing up to the middle divider of the bridge and damaging the boss from this position. And there's no need to be shy with heavy ammo or supers here, as both will be refunded to you when we start the boss fight. When the boss reaches roughly 80% HP, you'll be teleported into the Mindscape, which is the final boss room for this GM. Korosek will spawn after engaging the Mindscape, at which point your supers and heavy ammo will be fully refunded to you. I like to pre-place a tether in the center of the arena, as it will easily crowd control the entire first wave of enemies while simultaneously debuffing the boss. I personally like to back up to the center platform and damage Korosek from here, as it pulls you out of aggro range of most of the adds and gives you a great sightline on the boss. Levies and Queensbreakers should make quick work of the health bar, and when the last boss hits the 2/3 health gate, the first Savathun clone will spawn in. These can only be damaged by the Synaptic Spear that you pick up in the center of the arena, but will need to clear the encounter before doing so. Savathun will be accompanied by a barrier and unstoppable champion, and this center platform is still a great spot to sit for the time being. It puts you out of range from Savathun's one-shot lightning attack and allows you to quickly kill the champions directly in front of you. The only thing you need to be aware of here is the range splash damage attack that Savathun will send your way, but other than that, not much can really hit you in this position. Once clear, you'll want to pay attention to the lightning attacks and go for the spear just after the attack has concluded. You'll do this over and over and over again to deplete the clone's health bar, at which point Korosek will return for phase 2. Tether and DPS the boss down to the 1/3 health gate, which will lead us to the most challenging portion of this Grandmaster. You thought one Savathun clone was bad? Well, we now have 2 of them, one dedicated to each side of the arena, and it is at this point that we'll be rotating to the right tower. Your Banner of War Titan will need to kill a few enemies to proc Banner of War and spawn a tangle that can be used to give your teammates Woven Mail. They'll basically act as your team's dedicated ad clearer, as this extra DR and ad clear is essential for allowing your teammates to quickly spam spears before your team becomes overrun. The goal is to kill the right Savathun clone as quickly as possible, which allows you to cross-map the left clone without ever putting yourself in any danger. This may take a bit of practice, but is by far the best strategy that we've tested. And once both Savathun clones have been destroyed, Coruscant will return one final time, at which point you can finish off the boss's health bar and make the PsiOps Moon Battleground a GG. If you found this guide useful, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated, and you can catch me live this week over at twitch.tv/above, where I'll be helping people finish their Conqueror seals all week long. Anyways guys, that's it from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!